really common sense. And I'd like to remind everybody that we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of migrants here illegally that have convicted of crimes. And why, I don't know why, who wants to defend that, to allow them to remain in our nation after that? And now if you're here illegally and you're committing crimes and those things, I don't know why anybody thinks that it's controversial that they all need to go.
Do you think that this was one of, if not the biggest issue for this election?
Well, I think if we can't, there's 47 of us in the Senate, and if we can't pull up with 7 votes, if we can't get at least 7 out of 47, and if we can't, then that's the reason why we lost. That's one of them. That's one of why we lost, in part.
Go ahead. Breaking news as of today, January the 29th, 2025. The Lake and Riley Act has been signed into law, and this is what John Fetterman just said. I believe a secure border creates a more secure nation. It's just common sense. I believe a stronger border is fully compatible with my commitment to immigration. I also believe our nation should protect our dreamers. I believe this nation is tired of leaders in DC prioritizing fighting over governing. I believe Pennsylvania elected me to fight for a better commonwealth and to work with both sides of the aisle.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so crazy?
We will make America proud again. And you try to we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Well, Democratic Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman may be the new brand that Democrats desperately need. Here he is on The View after he was accused of, quote, cozying up to Trump.
The spew. Cancel the spew, they say. Not The View, the spew. How is it still on the air? Democrats, you oughta study, read, steal John Fetterman's playbook. You might learn a thing or two. You might win the game. You might win a football. You might win the game. Just study his playbook. Yeah, let's jump in.
There are those on the left who feel like you have made a rightward shift recently, going to Mar-a-Lago, joining Truth Social, your positions on issues like immigration, fracking. What do you say to those who are now, in a sense, questioning your commitment to the Democratic Party?
That's just happened not to be true. I've been on record, too, saying I am not going to become a Republican. Although maybe some people might be happy on one side, but I would make a pretty terrible Republican. I can't keep chasing down every last thing that's online because they're just happen not to be true. And just look at my votes. Look at the things that I haven't changed in a way.
He also defended President Trump and the actions that he's taken in the first week of his presidency.
He's been doing essentially what he actually campaigned on early on, immediately after the election. I was like, hey, we have a choice. We can freak out and follow every other thing around, like a cat, with a laser, after he won. But I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be that Democrat. For me, there's things I'm going to agree with, I'm going to disagree with, but I'm in the business of finding wins for Pennsylvania and for the nation and engaging the president. I think I see that as doing my job.
And
still got that hoodie on. God bless John Fetterman. And it's crazy that one of the most reasonable members of the party is a stroke victim. Wishing him to stay healthy. A lot of y'all be saying he has sense. Especially after having that stroke, man. But people were saying that he disrespected Trump for wearing the exact same outfit of his shorts and hoodie and tennis shoes to inauguration. But, says he's a down-to-earth guy. Got the exact same hoodie on. And you know what? I approve. Y'all. What do y'all think of John Fetterman? Comment down below, man. He says, if you are rooting against the president, you are rooting against the nation. We should all be rooting for President Trump. Yeah, these women on the spew Did not like to hear what he had to say during this episode. Y'all know we covered this entire episode. These women on the spew, not the view, the spew. Yeah.
Sarl, how refreshing to actually hear from someone that their allegiance is to the American people who they serve.
Well, and that's Pennsylvania. And look at the steel industry, and what we're looking at as a new renaissance for the steel industry under President Donald Trump, not under President Joe Biden, to be clear. So he does know, he knows his audience and he knows who put him into office. But the other thing, too, is that it is refreshing to see somebody that is so opposite of what has happened to the rest of the Democratic Party, which is they've all become a bunch of elite Hollywood-loving snobs. And that's why they've completely divorced themselves from the electorate, and that is why they lost in November. And that party's in disarray. My Democratic friends tell me that. The party's in disarray. There's no clear leadership. They're still trying. They're not even in denial about November. They still don't even know what to say about November because they don't have a response. But Fetterman, I think, we'll see where he goes with his votes.
So when are those stale questions going to dry up, Kennedy? The questions of, well, where's the allegiance to your party? Essentially, where's the rote resistance? Where's the chasing the online, sort of story of the day? Yeah. When will that narrative stop?
Well, I hope it stops soon because he has to talk to his constituents and figure out why so many of them who were independents and Democrats before, why they voted Republican. And, you have to be curious, especially when you are a public servant. You have to figure out, what is their pain? What is their motivation? And their motivation is, gosh, I hope we can find the biggest cheerleader for the Democrat Party. That's really going to pay the rent. It doesn't. And his party is so incredibly out of touch and in shambles. And therefore, if you're going to do a deep dive and figure out why you're doing what you're doing, you have to start with the people in your home state. And I do have a lot of respect for that. I don't think he's going to be a Republican anytime soon, but I think a Pennsylvania Democrat looks a lot more like a person who's creating a coalition like President Trump is to get reelected.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on what Kennedy's saying, and I really like the idea. So he's curious. And he's asking questions. Do we know yet if he's willing to go to Mar-a-Lago? How much time will he spend with the president? We've heard reports that might happen. But when you look at it, it's that curiosity that's lacking on the left. They lacked it before the election, and they lack it now. They're doing a lot of navel grazing, as I like to say, because they just want to look at themselves and say, we're okay, the kids are okay, and we don't know what the man in the White House is doing. They need to pay attention. With regard to John Fetterman, though, don't get it twisted. He is not a Republican. I don't think he was joking when he said that to the women on The View. I think he means it. By the way, anytime he wants to come and sit on this couch, he can wear shorts all he wants.
Yeah, and he went to Mar-a-Lago, which I think represents, to Harris's point, the Democrats that are saying, we have a commander-in-chief that serves all Americans, and therefore I'm here to serve my constituents too. And last time I checked, there's not something wrong with that.
No, of course not. I'm going to steal a metaphor. Gutfeld uses the metaphor of a pirate ship for the Trump administration.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That even looks like a pirate. You're bringing guys in that normally wouldn't be there, that are at least willing to listen. And, it is analogous to a pirate ship in the fact that it's coming in and it's disrupting, right? He's changed the thing. They have the power. So, of course, he's dealing with the power that is. He's very clever. He's doing the PR in terms of, okay, I'm listening, I'm curious, etc. But where the rubber hits the road, he's voting Democrat. So he's having his cake and eating it too. That's politics. He's revealing himself to right now being the shrewdest of the Democrats who are in play.
And the American people, I think, to the point about the mandate, they drew a line in the sand, but they also encouraged that coalition. They encouraged the whole point of common sense, which means getting things done. So a Democrat that works with Republicans on legislation that actually advances a common sense agenda, then that's going to score another win for PA like he's
the energy industry,
amassing.
by the way, the energy industry in Pennsylvania. Look at that. Right. Look at what's going to happen there. And he obviously has a vested interest in making sure that production happens.
Yeah.
Well, look, the American people have chosen. Right? And they had to make a change in choosing, because if you don't change, then you must have picked it.
At least he's recognizing reality.
They didn't want to keep picking the same thing that was broken for them, and he's paying attention to that.